Do I?
Are you, 1 second, Louis, are you there? Okay, please do ask Louis next question.
Yes, that was because in Buddhism, I have seen they make a lot of emphasis with the accumulation of merits and dedicating the merits. And when I first studied yoga, I haven't seen that emphasis. And at the end, I think everything is the same. Any pure spiritual path. So, what do you think about this topic of the merits? And
The merit is basically a good deed, doing a good deed. So whenever you do a good karma, and remember this is a very similar question to your previous question.
yes,
The connection of the karmas, good karma or bad karma, good deed, accumulation of good karma. Today's conversation always has been only about transforming. So if it's only about good karma, karma is karma. As long as you are in the human body, you cannot be free from the karma. Remember that. Second part, if you accumulate a good karma, you will have a consequences of good karma. You will have a consequences of a good karma. But yoga believes slightly different. Yoga system is slightly different. It's a liberation, the moksha. Completely transcending yourself from a good karma and bad karma. As if you have a good karma, you have to come back again. You have to come back again. You will not reach to the Shunya. You will not reach to the Shunya, which I'm pretty sure you are aware what Shunya is. And good karma is created, good deeds, good merits are created if you are living a grahastha life. If you are living not a life of a tapasi, not in the life of a sadhvi or a yogi or a saint or a monk. If you are living the life as a monk, your good karma should be dropped. You should not classify, you just only focus on the karma, doing whatever you can and free from it. As a monk, if you start creating karma, there will be an outcome of it. You are again part of a life chakra, death and birth, death and birth, death and birth. You are not free from it. So good deed only exists till if you want to be create a hierarchy system in a society, also hierarchy system or spiritual terms or in a higher place to come back again and again. Does that make sense to you?
yes, thank you.
And the Buddha never taught about creating a hierarchy system. Buddha never taught about good deed. Buddha taught about just karma, the part or the focus, the practice, so you can reach to the Sunya. So lots of things in the Hinduism we have doing good karma. Everybody in first stage of somebody not doing a good karma, what will you encourage them to become more sattvic? Taking the path to become more aware is a good karma. That from good karma you increase a bit more further to drop the good karma too. So if your journey just only stuck on accumulation of good karma, there is a bit more further beyond the good karma, which is a unity between good and bad is yoga. There is no judgment. The time you drop the judgment, you create a acceptance. When you create acceptance, you transform. I hope that make your question a bit more clear.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Is there anybody else have a question?
May I ask a short question?
Please do.
Yes, I just heard recently that Buddha never called himself Buddha, but Tathagata.
Yeah.
And it's a Sanskrit term. Can you say something about the meaning of Tathagata?
Tathagat means basically the as it is, the absolute truth. There is no transition of it. Tatha means I am, Gat means the path of my life. So Tathagat was also people call it blessed one. Buddha means blessed one. Buddha was called later on. Nobody actually called Buddha at the time. Buddha actually not even recommended to make statues, but we have statues of Buddha. Okay. Buddha said, many Buddhas have come before me, there will be more Buddhas after me. But there is no Buddha, just only one Buddha. All the pictures. Yeah. So the thing at the time, lots of things get added. You must understand the Buddhism have gone to such a scrutiny of the many civilizations overruling, destroying the scriptures of the Takshila and Nalanda universities, if you are aware of it, entire literature was destroyed completely. So the loss of the sacred practices of the teachings of Buddha was gone, teachings of Vedic system was gone, teaching of the Jaina system was gone. Whatever Sanatana Dharma at the time was teaching was all destroyed. Lots of things were rewritten by the people or either passed through the stages. But it was not Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma was to constantly changing, constantly finding the new ways, trying to elaborate the structure of it. How can you be free from the mental limitation? How can you be free that emotional limitation? How can you be free from a physical limitation? And then finally, your limitation of your spirituality. So lots of practices were changed. So the Buddhism rewritten many times. People have written as per their interest, as per their satisfaction, as per their the what do you call it? Understanding of Buddha, not the Buddha. If we practice what Tathagata said, what the Siddhartha taught, will be completely different story. You will not have any monasteries, my dear. There will be no Buddha statues, but there will be Buddha in everywhere, but not the Buddha statues. Now, what we have Buddha statues everywhere, but not the Buddhas. They were not the message of Buddha. Buddha came at the time to make everybody a Buddha, but nobody became Buddha, very few people. But there was Buddha statues everywhere. I have one in my studio too that come from Bhutan, especially from you. So the yoga practices can help you to become a Buddha. Buddhist practices can become, I always say, don't follow Buddha. Do not need to follow a Buddha, but create a possibility that you can become a Buddha. So Buddha statues is with statues, but Buddha statue can never be any further beyond than what it is. But you have potential to be a bit more further than what you are today. So try to find a way, how can you transform yourself? How can you transform yourself practicing a Buddha, praying to a Buddha statue? You cannot become a Buddha. But following on the footstep of a Buddha, there is a possibility. Remember that. But what we do, we don't want to follow because that requires tapas, that requires a sacrifice. Buddha even left his wife. Young wife, he left because he wanted to become a Buddha. You can't actually get up 5 o'clock in the morning because I love my sleep. Never mind leaving the beautiful partner behind. So require tapas, require a penance, requires either a inner urge that you really like to transform yourself. Otherwise, stories are there good for half an hour, 2 hour, 1 day, 2 day. Sometimes you entertain the idea of dinner table. That's it. Nothing beyond. But till you let the Buddha live inside you, completely clean yourself and walking on the footsteps of Buddha. I tell you a story. I went to one time to, our Indian tradition, you always touch the feet, yeah? My grandfather told me one day, I did out of habit. He said, don't touch my feet. Never ever touch my feet again. I asked him, why? You are my teacher. I give you greetings as my teacher or as my elderly being. He said, you should only touch my feet when you are willing to walk on my footsteps. Till then, don't touch it. So basically, the message was there that I like to get the blessing of certain part of your journey, walking on your footsteps. I surrender my ego to your feet so I can walk on the feet. But actually, the real practice will disappear, walking on the footsteps of the masters, walking on the footsteps that actually can elevate your limitation of the mind or the life. But what became yet only a ritual. Rituals need to be dropped, but the practices need to come in. So there's lots of issues in every custom or belief system. And there is nothing wrong with how Buddhist practice is done, how Hindu practices are done, how one would change it. Require a penance, require a tapas, requires a sacrifice. Sacrifice doesn't mean nowadays people even kill the animals for sacrifice. Sacrifice support for your desire, not for a living being. But what we do, we actually sacrifice the living beings. No, sacrifice your living desire inside you. That will be more powerful. So on that note, anybody else have any question? If not, remaining questions, we can carry them forward for next time. Thank you, everyone. Please do watch. And the Sangha of the clips have been on the YouTube. They will be available publicly. If you found something interesting for you, you can find my name. Also, you can share it to the other people, whoever might benefit by hearing what we have discussed and talked about today. On that note, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you.
Hari Om, everyone.
Thank you again.
Thank
How is
you.
everybody feeling? Thank you, everybody on YouTube watching, and share it with your friends and people, and they will remain for some time on the YouTube as well.